Within the next 4 weeks, the entire crypto space is expecting a major announcement which will undoubtedly trigger the much anticipated crypto bull run throughout 2024. And yes, of course, I'm talking about the long-awaited BlackRock Spot Bitcoin ETF, which has a deadline of early January 2024. You may have seen headlines in the past few months which say, with ETF approval odds at 90%, major bank says Bitcoin price hits $100,000 in 2024. And another one says, with an approved BlackRock ETF, the Bitcoin price will hit $141,000. And even this one, which says, BlackRock ETF insider Scaramucci says approval will drive a $330,000 Bitcoin price. And so in today's video, I'm going to take you beyond the realms of technical analysis, and we're going to venture into a comprehensive market macro analysis for Bitcoin in 2024. I'm going to show you my dynamic Bitcoin price simulation, which is going to take you through each month of 2024, and then we're going to simulate the price of Bitcoin as it reacts to various catalysts throughout the year, which we know are almost certainly coming. And we also have the ability to dynamically adjust the price at any point in the year to account for any catalysts which we're expecting at various points during the year. And these are some of the macro catalysts which we expect to impact Bitcoin throughout 2024. The Bitcoin halving in April, interest rate cuts by the Federal Reserve expected during around mid of 2024, the obvious launch of a Bitcoin spot ETF, in my opinion, US presidential elections, and the consumer price index data, which is released every month and decided on every quarter. And with that incredibly long intro, my friends, welcome back to SHIB Planet. This is Ace. I took a break from posting to focus on family and work, and also to get some rest. But the bull run has woke me up, so let's get right to it. Okay, let's start the simulation. The current price of Bitcoin is hovering around the upper $41,800 region at the time of recording. So for the purpose of this simulation, we're going to use that $41,000 price as our base price, and we're going to adjust it accordingly as we proceed with our simulation. So let's start off with making our current month of December aligned with the current price. I believe it was 41,800, so I'll just put it around 41,900 because it did recently cross 42,000. And if you're wondering why Bitcoin has been spiking, there are multiple spot Bitcoin ETFs which have an approval deadline of the middle of June, and among them is the likes of BlackRock, VanEck, ARK Invest, Fidelity, Valkyrie, and as you can see, in the middle of June, that's when the third deadline is approaching, with many other ETFs happening in the following months. And of course, the largest of these fund managers is BlackRock, which is one of the world's largest institutional fund managers with trillions of dollars under fund management. According to Statista.com, the total assets under management for BlackRock by the end of 2023 is around 9.4 trillion US dollars. And some analysts are saying that even if 1% of these funds get allocated to Bitcoin over time, that's going to be tens, if not hundreds of billions dollars injected into Bitcoin's market cap. And according to this article, it's not a matter of if, but when the application gets approved, because they say BlackRock's ETF success rate with the SEC is 557 to 1. Okay, let's head back to CoinMarketCap and switch from price to market cap. The current market cap of Bitcoin is currently sitting at about $820 billion. And if we look at the 7-day chart, you can see that Bitcoin has gained around $100 billion in a matter of 7 days. Let that sink in. That means that the market is prepared to inject $100 billion in just a matter of a week, just based on confident expectation. What do you think is going to happen when we get actual confirmation? I personally think we could see at least $200 billion in a single day easily. Okay, let me illustrate it like this. Let's pull out the old Bitcoin calculator, and first let me input the circulating supply, which is going to be mined by January of 2024. So I'm just going to head over to the sim, and that's our, how much of extrapolated would be, how much supply would have been issued by then. And then I'm going to enter in our market cap, which I believe was 120. So that's more or less the price which we have at the moment. Now let's inject another 200 billion into the market cap. Now I expect that this is going to be the price even prior to a positive announcement, because I do expect that as the date draws near, the price will steadily rise up to in the 50s easily. But if we get confirmation, I expect at least another $200 billion immediate injection, because the market loves to be validated. So just to factor that in, I'll add another $200 billion and that'll push our price to at least 60,000 in my view, at least 60,000 in the month of January. So if that's the case, I anticipate Bitcoin will be just below its all-time high before the end of January. So let's jump to January on the simulator, and we're just going to adjust that price to what we've just estimated. So I'll put it around $61,000 for a Bitcoin price. And let me quickly show you my table of catalysts. This is basically a table of all the catalysts which are expected to impact the price of Bitcoin throughout 2024, at least the major ones. We'll obviously have the BlackRock ETF in January. We'll have the Bitcoin halving in April. We have multiple FOMC meetings which happen quarterly. And one of the big things which they talk about is consumer price index data, which we receive data every month. And we also have rate cut projections, which are expected. Some analysts say Q1. I doubt that. I tend to think from the second half of the year. And we'll talk about that as we're doing our simulation. And we also have, in my opinion, it might be important to consider any changes to Ethereum, which might be coming, because that tends to impact liquidity. But I'm talking too much. Let's stay on January. We've got, I think in January we've got the FOMC and some CPI data. So that might also contribute to that 61K or even more if we have favorable results from the data. And here's an overview of the CPI rates and their expected outcomes in 2024. Headline CPI is currently 3.2% by the end of October of 2023. The core CPI at about 4.03%. And if we compare this to the expected rates for 2024, headline CPI is forecasted to fall to 2.4%, and core CPI is also forecasted to fall to around 2.4%. So if any of these things come even remotely true, that is fairly good news for the markets. So let's jump to February. I anticipate that following an approval, an ETF approval, we might start to see the first influx of Bitcoin ETF allocations coming through from BlackRock and all the other ETFs, which are likely also to get approved at that time. So factoring that in, I'm comfortable pushing Bitcoin to a new all-time high based on those factors. So let's leave it at about $71,000. Congratulations, Bitcoin. You have reached a new all-time high, and let's see what's going to happen from here. Now, at this stage, there's going to be a lot of mainstream media attention on Bitcoin, similar to the previous bull run, and all eyes and questions will be around two things. Firstly, the halving, which will be happening in April, and a lot of people will begin to question the fundamental nature of crypto in general, and the people will start questioning the benefits of crypto to the economy and just the industries in general. And we'll start to see a lot more new retail and institutional interest, particularly because of the ETFs. And speaking about the halving, if you still don't know what the halving is, here's a very quick breakdown. There are exactly 21 million Bitcoins which will ever exist, and a certain amount of them are released and mined via computers. But every 4 years, the rate of Bitcoins released is halved. The last time I covered this, we estimated at about 900 Bitcoin per day during this current halving cycle, which is an average of about 27,000 Bitcoin per month. So that is expected to halve after April, making Bitcoin effectively more scarce and theoretically driving the value and price up. And historically, following every halving, the price of Bitcoin increases, just as it's illustrated on this chart here. And in 2012, after the halving, it went up. And then in 2016, the price went up 200%. In 2020, 400% after the halving. And we're currently on the fourth halving. And some analysts are anticipating anywhere between a 50% increase to a 200% increase due to the law of diminishing returns. But I personally think that that this actually might not be a really accurate comparison, because all this time prior, there's been mostly retail, and the interest hasn't been mainstream. But now with these ETFs, we'll have a whole different amount of attention on Bitcoin, and that might even increase the price even further. So let's jump to the month of March. On the table, we have both the FOMC meeting and CPI data. And I can't speculate what the outcome of these meetings will be, but if we go on the general consensus that inflation will start to ease at some point in 2024, it's possible we could hear at least talk of a rate cut. And this is where I got the information about the rate cuts. The analysts seem to have diverse opinions. According to Connor Sen and Bill Ackman, they predict the interest rate cuts as early as the first quarter of 2024, citing slowing inflation and unemployment. And the rest of my table seems to lean towards the other half of the year. In one case, it says UBS predicts rate cuts beginning in March. They anticipate a total 275 basis points over the year, and yeah, the rest of these you can read for yourself. Let's head back to the simulation. So for the month of March, for dramatic effect, I think we can push Bitcoin up to safely $90,000 as the anticipation for the halving begins to take place. Because similar to that other chart which I was showing you, you did notice that the price increases closer to the catalyst. So I do believe we'll should be able to see 90K in March. I wouldn't be surprised if we're at 100 already. And of course, in the month of April, we'll have a triple whammy. We have the Bitcoin halving, we have an FOMC meeting discussing on the recent CPI data, as well as additional CPI data. And because of that, I do believe that by April, we should be able to get 100K Bitcoin. So I'm going to push the price of Bitcoin and say, congratulations, Bitcoin, you have pumped yourself to 100,000. I'll get as close to 100 as I can. That should be fine. So let's quickly jump to May. I'm going to jump to May. Now, May is going to be interesting in my opinion, because Bitcoin, in my view, will be at a fork, so to speak, because 100K is both a potential resistance point and a psychological milestone. There could be both a lot of buying and selling pressure from people who are both taking milestone profits from this psychological point of 100K, and also new people entering into the market, because we'll clearly be in a bull run, and that's what happens in bull runs. Lots of people come in. So I'm comfortable to leave the month of May within the around 110K. So I'll just put that, let's see, about 110K. And then let's move on to the next one. So let's jump to the month of June and adjust that. Now, June will be very interesting in my opinion, because we'll have an FOMC meeting in conjunction with new CPI data. So as long as you guys haven't been buying Lambos with all your gains from the likes of Solana and all the inevitable meme coins, we might see the first actual rate cuts. And yeah, we might see rate cuts around about this time. According to Comerica forecasts a first rate cut of 25 basis points in June, with a cumulative 0.75% point in rate cuts over the course of 2024. And we might even hear an update from Ethereum. As you know, they're on their roadmap. I think they're at a stage where they're discussing dank sharding or proto-dank sharding. And you know, if any of this happens, Ethereum tends to have the ability to draw some liquidity during bull markets from Bitcoin. So yeah, we might have to factor that in as well. So I'm comfortable pushing June to about 120K. I'll just move that on the simulator. And I'll do a similar price for the month of July and August, and I'll explain why in a moment. Let's just say about 124 in August, in July, and maybe back to 122 in August. And I'll just update that on the chart over here. And the reason why I kept the price fairly stable around here, because if you notice what happens in bull runs, when Bitcoin experiences massive growth and then stabilizes, that's usually the start of a massive altcoin season. Basically, this is how money flows in crypto. Fiat money flows into Bitcoin, and from those gains, it flows onto Ethereum, and then other top 10 coins like XRP, Solana, and then it's going to flow into anywhere in the top 30. And then this is where we start to see meme coins, making overnight millionaires. So this season, I expect a lot of items like gaming and metaverse cryptos to take the stage, maybe even more than meme coins did last time. And we'll start to see a lot of projects making 50 to 100x gains. And this all has the effect of reducing the growth, temporarily reducing the growth of Bitcoin. So that's why I had those, fairly stable prices between June and around August. So let's talk about September. At this stage, in my view, crypto would be quite mainstream, at least in the form of attention which we'll be getting, and it's likely we'll start to hear major companies stating that they're either holding Bitcoin directly or through an ETF. And if other analysts are correct, it's around September we'll start to hear solid news of favorable rate cuts, because September also has an FOMC meeting, and that'll be quite interesting. So taking that into consideration, I am quite comfortable pushing Bitcoin to a top of 130,000 by the end of September. And to be honest, that's as far as I'm comfortable projecting without a crystal ball. So basically, I don't expect Bitcoin will ever go below 100K from this point. And but I'll use a similar reasoning to inch up to around 140K for the year. Obviously, I might not know exactly how this will play out, but we'll at least try and push that other article's narrative and try end the year at about 140K. So something like that might work out well. So just add that to our simulator, and that is our quick run simulation. So what does this mean for other cryptos? Well, in my next video, if you guys are interested, I can show you the price impact of mainstream adoption on all other cryptocurrencies as a result of the bull run. And it's going to be massive, because most top 20 cryptocurrencies, they actually hold a certain peg percentage in relation to Bitcoin. So it's quite easy to do simulation on most top 20 projects. So let me know what you guys think. But that is it for today's video, guys. Yes, Ace is back with a brand new edition. I'll be rebranding my channel to be more generic by the end of the month, or maybe even early 2024. And I'll cover all major crypto up to and including obviously the Shibarium ecosystem, and I'll also be updating my simulations as I receive new data. But for now, thank you so much for watching, everyone. This is Ace. Peace.